I'm just testing here. We just had this incredible, crazy ass reading, and I'm just gonna pull like 3 quick cards. I want them to be, my intention is for it to be like a brief look into the collective energies for when I do an actual reading later. Okay. Okay. Oh, there it is again. 8 of Cups. Okay. Right now, what this card keeps coming up, and what it's communicating to me is like we're done with something. We're done with something, and we're walking away. We're just like, I am. Yeah, you just reach that point where you're like, but hold on, let me get more to the story before I start talking here. Yep, 7 of Fire. I don't know if that showed in the camera or not because I didn't look. 7 of Fire. One more. I'm not going to bother trying to show you the pretty clouds because that didn't work last time, but they are so beautiful. Oh my god. Like indigo, the light coming through. Okay. One more card. We get the 7 of Wands with the 8 of Cups. Let me look at these a sec. The 2 of Earth and the Chariot. So yeah. So the 8 of Cups is like the walking on. The 7 of Wands, this keeps coming up too. And so to me, this is a card of like, you know who you are. You're a unicorn, and you have this large, this grand vantage point. You've always been this unicorn. You've always had these stars following you around, and you're always just, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like the Fool card in a way, where you're on the edge of a cliff and you could jump off because you know your magic and you know you're held, and you come in knowing, understanding the way the universe works. But then somewhere along the way, see, this is the card we were getting last time, the 2 of Earth, and I was reading it as like sort of the mundane world where you're just like kind of trapped in like, well, I got to take care of things, and I got to take care. So this would be like the classic story of like, you grow up, you get a job, you have kids, and now you're stuck in the system and you can't do anything because, you know, and yet you were once a unicorn. Okay, you were once a unicorn. But it doesn't have to be like you grow up and you get a job and you have kids. It's just you're alive on this planet and it wears you down. And the message is constantly that, you know, the mundane world is real and you have to be realistic and you have to follow the rules. And so you did that for a really long time. You did that for a long time, and you just let your little unicorn, you know, it's like, okay, so the 7 of Wands is often a card of like, you know what you want, you know, you feel that spark, you know who you are, but then you start to doubt, or like other people might make, you know, like judge you or whatever, so you start to judge yourself, and you just kind of move away from that energy, and then you go on this whole other journey, you know, and then finally you're like, wait a minute, I remember who I am. I am starting to remember why I'm here. And I am, you know, I'm walking away from this program that I was taught. I'm walking away from it, and I'm just going to be a goddamn unicorn again. And so then the next card we get is the Chariot. I was just looking to see if that was a unicorn. It does have a beautiful third eye piece, though, that horse. These are different decks. But this horse also has kind of the same colors. It has like turquoise, that turquoise color, and the yellow and the red. Of course, it's only the white horse. Anyway, the Chariot, you know, is a card of balancing the polarities. You know, you faced your darkness. This is also a card of balance. You're balancing. You know, you've worked this. You've done this alchemy for a really long time. You've done it for a really long time, and now you have it in balance. And now you're able to move forward. Not only are you able to move forward, but you're able to see forward. You have your third eye open. And from that space, you're able to remember and access those parts of you that bring you back into your unicorn energy, your original energy, where you knew what you were doing. And so you're walking away. You're walking away from the program, from the conditioning of lack and limitation. You're just not falling for it anymore. Your third eye has been open, you've been activated, and you're moving forward now with this original frequency, this soul frequency. your unique signature that only you carry. You're moving forward with that now. Hallelujah. Because the world needs you. Here it is again. Another card of moving on. And this card. So this card to me can be like, I'm moving on, but I'm still a little bit conflicted because look, I have this chest behind me, and in this chest are all these jewels and all these things that I accumulated on this path that I started out on. You know, it's all I could handle at that point. Like, I was in the world. Yes, I'm a unicorn, but I'm in the world, and these are the rules I was told to live by. And I just kind of had to do it for a while because part of the agreement is that we forget. So we're in this, we're doing this. And I got kind of good at this. I didn't personally. I never got good at that world ever, which was kind of a blessing because I always kept touch with my unicorn. However, I also thought I was a failure and judged and hated myself for a long time. So I guess in a sense that's the same energy as this. But I personally never got good at the world. And so, so say in this scenario for somebody else, they did, and they accumulated a lot of, could be material items, but it could also, like, well, I got really good at, like I climbed to the top of my company, or, the community respects me, and maybe they respected me for my ability to, again, play in that old energy. But yeah, you might have a little bit of a reputation, or you might have a little bit of a status, or you might have an identity around that. And it's kind of hard to let that go. You're like, well, can I take this one with me? You're not quite ready to leave it completely. But this is a card where you are. This is the one where you're like, you know what? I figured out how to fly like above, up in the air. Like the heights that I can reach now are above the birds, and I have my ship with me to navigate. I have my black horse and my white horse, and I'm able to move forward, from my unicorn self. So I'm actually ready. I'm actually ready to go, even if I have to lay down this pearl that I really liked. Like, I just wanted to take that one with me. But, and here, it's like you're kind of deciding. You're like, do I want to try to stay in the old energy and just like take some of those things with me, or am I ready to explore in this new way that's ready for me? And again, we can stay in the old energy as long as we want, but this is available for us now. This is a message I keep seeing over and over and over again in all these different ways. But every time I read it, it gets a little more anchored, like okay, so whereas before the way we anchored was like this in the earth, it's brown, our feet are on the ground, now like this new, what we find when we move on is how we anchor. It's like we're not gonna feel stable in the old energy. We're not gonna feel stable anymore. We're literally just gonna be juggling constantly, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But when we surrender and we come up into here, and we come up into this higher timeline, into this higher frequency, that's when we're going to feel secure. That's when we're going to feel really safe. And so if you want to keep juggling for a while to see if you're still anchored here, go for it, as long as you want. And when it becomes too exhausting and you're just like, I can't do it anymore, just know that not only is this, actually more stable than it looks, but that there are other people anchored here. And so when you get there, there's a whole party. There's a whole party in the air. So, it might feel like you're like, oh my God, I don't know. Because it can feel like you're jumping across. I mean, it can kind of be like this unicorn's ready to go, but look, it's like, it's kind of dark, it's kind of dark over here. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen when you jump, that can be kind of scary. And you might think, well, I'll just stay here for a while. Like, eventually my hind legs are going to get tired, but I'll just stay here. What happens when you jump? Hold on. The hangman, right? Okay, so there he is. He literally, maybe he jumped and he's upside down. So I just asked, what happens when you jump? You kind of feel upside down. Your world gets flipped on the end, and it can feel kind of scary. You can feel kind of lost. You can feel kind of disoriented. Now, how long does that go on? Once you, and what does that mean to jump? Well, maybe you just set the intention. You set the intention that, like, I'm tired of this box. I want to expand. I want to move further. And so, you know, even setting the tension gets things in motion, you know, can kind of flip the script, and all of a sudden you start feeling a little up in the air, you start feeling a little funny, a little unsteady, but hang in there. Hang in there. Because you can, you know, you can do your juggle, you can do the juggling. Yeah, see, look at what happens here. We get the High Priestess. See, she knows. When we were talking about the Queen of Cups knowing a couple readings ago, I mean, this is the major arcana of that. You know, it's like she knows. She's got your back. This is you. This is a true you. So, you know, it's like you might feel a little unsteady. You might feel a little up in the air, but you're perfectly safe. You're perfectly safe. You're perfectly guided. And the balancing act that you learned in the lower world, you can actually utilize that same energy. I mean, in a sense, that is something that you get to bring with you. You do get to bring some of the pearls, some of the things that you learned, like how to stay steady. Like, for example, just be present. You know, just be present and breathe through your trials. Like, you've breathed through your trials in the old game. You do the same thing. You breathe through your trials in the new game. You breathe through them. You hold steady. You follow your breath. You remember. You pause. I don't want to stop because it's good, but I know I'm not going to post this. And you come to your reward. Okay, so that's it.